Big Z Reviews. Dune is the newest adaptation of what may be the best science fiction novel ever, and this time they actually nailed it.
A boy!
Hey, Duncan, can I trust you with something?
Yes, always, you know that.
I've been having dreams about a girl on Arrakis. I don't know what it means.
Dreams make good stories. But everything important happens when we're awake. Hey, you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
So for my personal history with Dune, I think I've read the first book like 3 times, and I've read the entire series that Herbert wrote once, and I've read the first 3 books twice. So like there is, when you get further along in this series, there's kind of a lot of diminishing returns, especially once you get into the son's work, which is using his notes. But the first book, Dune, is just about perfect. And it's funny though, it's been a couple years since I last read it, so the everything that happens isn't totally ingrained in my mind. Like I remember like the big stuff, but like it's not so that like it's not, if they did change too much in here, it didn't bother me too much. But I feel like Denis Villeneuve, he kind of just made the book, and it amazes me because it's so good. Like so many times, like you say, oh, you can never adapt it, and so many times, like I read both science fiction and fantasy, but I prefer fantasy. But like seeing Denis Villeneuve take on Dune like he did makes me want to see my favorite fantasy books on the big screen. Like just make them, just do them how the book says, and I love that. And this, like I traveled with my brother around like 2 hours to the nearest IMAX theater to see it, and I'm so glad I did, because like I feel like, I mean I'm gonna watch this again on HBO Max at home, but for the first viewing, you can never get that viewing back. You know, the first time you see a movie, you'll never have that again. It's impossible. You always kind of remember what happened before. So I'm really glad that the first viewing was the best viewing available to me. Because seeing it on IMAX, it is impressive. Like Denis Villeneuve, he has such a sense of scale and size in his films. And he brought that to Dune. And like right off the bat, you get there and like there's the Atreides, you're kind of introduced to them, and they're meeting the Imperial like speaker, telling them that you've been given Arrakis, and you know that there's the whole retinue of the Emperor, like all the designs of the different characters and the costumes and the ship and everything is just so bombastic, like it's gorgeous. And this, I love that, like how all the actors, like all for the Atreides family, is like everyone is just so good, and the film is just so good, and it's just like I'm so glad that they announced that they are going to do the sequel, but it makes me wonder, like I know like at least the first 3 I think will make good movies, but once you get more than that, I don't want to spoil the books, but they get a little wacky, and like some of them would be really tough to do, and then other stuff like could be really fun with Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. Because I'm not spoiling anything, but at some point, he becomes the main character in the book. Yeah, but there's, I don't know, like, but I think if you do these books, I think it could turn out to be one of the best science fiction movie series ever. And I think what's impressed me so much is that this movie, the design of everything, did not feel beholden to what had come before. Like, you say what you want about Joe Dorowski's Dune, he was trying to do something original. And I feel like Denis did something original, and he actually got it made. And like all the ship designs and the costumes and the outfits and everything, they feel like, I mean, I can't remember, I don't think they exactly look how I would have pictured them, but they look something about them is just so, it's not, like, so many times when previous science fiction movies, like, and then you bring something new out, and you kind of, even unknowingly, you're inspired by Star Trek or Star Wars or all the other science fiction movies that came before. And I didn't feel that with anything in here. Like, the only thing that it's inspired by is, like, you see, is like nature. But like the one main ships that they travel on, like they look like a dragonfly, and I love that. I think that when you go further along in technology, you realize that evolution kind of perfected some of the stuff. So I think we will be looking back in nature, and like taking that to design our ships in the future, possibly. And they do that, and they look so good. But also too, like, when the interiors of the ships and how they use them is reminiscent to what we have today, like just thousands of years in the future. Like, I love that they're like callbacks to it's believable. Like, so many times, like, things you can do in any sort of science fiction or fantasy universe, like, to make it believable to the viewer is so important, and it really does. What if you're not familiar with Dune or Herbert's series? The basic idea is that this is back in the day. I mean, there's a lot of things you can call back to the Middle East and the oil that we find in the Middle East and like the countries fighting over it. Like, there's a lot of callbacks to that, but at its core, this is a coming of age story for Paul Atreides. Like, he is the young son of Duke Atreides, played by Oscar Isaac, and he's coming into his powers of his mother as a Bene Gesserit. He's coming into he's becoming adult. He's coming into his strengths and his visions, but like his family is given this planet, the most like important and powerful and like now make you rich planet, Arrakis. The Emperor gifts the Atreides the planet of Arrakis, where is the only world where the spice is found, the spice melange, and this is an incredibly important item because it's like a hallucinogenic, but it allows the navigators on the ships to do faster than light travel. So that is how you travel in this universe. So it's only available on Arrakis. And previously, for like 100 years, the Harkonnens, or Harkonnens, I think is how they pronounced it in this movie, but they have controlled the spice and this planet. But the Emperor, like, we don't know why, but for some reason they've gifted it to the one of the most powerful families and the Atreides. And it's so interesting. Like, it's far in the future, but like it's funny. It's like gone back to almost like medieval times, like with how the royalty and the king or the emperor, and even like they've gone away from guns essentially because everyone has these shields, and that the only way to get through the shield is to be like a slow moving item. So it's gotten into like hand-to-hand combat, and like the way they do it in this movie is excellent. Like, it's really well crafted and well done. Like how the fight scenes, and again, because it is PG-13, there's not much blood. What they do, like, to show that when they got a hit, like the shield kind of like vibrates around. Looks so much better than the previous version of the Lynch version of Dune. But like then it kind of glows red to show that they got a hit, and that like they killed the person. And this like essentially this in the beginning of the book and being in the movie, the Atreides, they go to this planet and they're planning on taking it over, but like even the Harkonnens have kind of left it in ruin. But that's perhaps that might be more going on, and there's a lot of shenanigans involved. But it's just I love how I think you could really get bogged down with the world building and the info dumps in this world, because I mean there's so much to explain. But I love how Denis Villeneuve did it. Like he didn't explain that much, and I think that I really appreciated that. Like he did a little bit like Timothée Chalamet would like be watching a hologram of like explaining stuff on Arrakis, and that'll give you a little bit of background info, and like they would like a training scene with them like fighting and trying to show them so you kind of get an idea, but they're very light on the hammering you with the world building, and I really appreciate that. And Rebecca Ferguson is Timothée Chalamet's mother in this, but she's not quite the wife of Oscar Isaac, but she's a Bene Gesserit, and she's kind of like his concubine. But she is amazing in this too. And the Bene Gesserit, like they're almost like witches, but they've essentially through thousands of years they've tried to create a messiah through bloodlines, like a brain powerful enough to see into the future. And Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson, believes that person might be Timothée Chalamet, Paul Atreides. But the rest of the Bene Gesserit are unsure about that. But they're set up so just in case he is, maybe he will be able to survive Arrakis and become who he could be. And like there's the design of all of this when they come with the Emperor. It's so cool. And like there's like some of the scenes that take place along with that, and like with the voice, like they have like they can use like the pitch, and like they get like the weirding is like how they fight, and that like they make you believe that you're somewhere else than you are, so you can kill them, and like you can like talk to them, and the way you use your pitch and everything, it makes them follow your command, and the way that Denis did it is just really cool. And honestly, there's just so much that you could go on and on about how great this movie is. But like, I don't want to spoil anything, even though the book has been out for decades. But I really think you should experience it for yourself. And especially now there is going to be a sequel. So, I mean, the only thing I didn't love about this film is that the story is kind of chopped in half. Like, right when you're starting to get going, it kind of has to wind down and come to an end, and like it finds a good point to stop, but at the same time it feels like and it's long, but it doesn't feel long. It's like, well, I want another 3 hours of this, and just everyone is just so good. Like what little bit you get is Zendaya is really promising. Like she's not that much. She's in the movie a lot of Visions, but she's not actually in it that much. But what she is in it is really good. Batista as like the Beast Harkonnen is great, and all the Harkonnens are like what they did with them is really cool. And like there's a lot more story to tell, and I really look forward to see like them, because like essentially on this planet there's like there's people that live by sand power that like are always in the spice and have all blue eyes, and they're kind of like the Taliban, but this was kind of written around more the same time when Russia was fighting the Taliban, not before everything that happened in 2001. But there's so much really interesting stuff here, and I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. Because apparently it should be coming out in 2023. So I assume this is not that much of a turnaround. They must have some stuff ready already, even though we're waiting to see if the box office was decent enough. And the box office was good. It's actually the best that Denis Villeneuve has done, the best opening weekend, and that's with being on HBO Max. So I hope it has good legs. I hope that it gets even more money to show that, you should make this. Because I think this has potential to be, again, the best science fiction series ever. And they make Timothée Chalamet look so gorgeous. Like something about Denis Villeneuve, like all the camera angles and all like everything they give Paul Atreides, he just looks so. I mean, it's like a model. Like how they get like the hair blown in the wind. Like I mean, every scene of him, it looks so good. Like he is perfect as Paul Atreides. He looks so young, but like you can see that like in the future ones, you could really like age him up. I think, and like it's in this year, it's so perfect. And I mean, he is Paul Atreides. I really feel like, and I mean I just love this film. Like I'd probably give it like a 9.5 out of 10. I'd definitely recommend it. And if you can, see it in theaters, or if not, see it in HBO Max. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.